Like always, today's episode is brought to you by our amazing sponsors: gluten-free diet water, premium junk clothing, Williamson wines, Good Dudes coffee. Gluten-free diet water. Stay hydrated with a refreshing twist. Perfect for those health-conscious listeners. Premium junk clothing for those who love to express their unique style with high-quality fashion pieces. Visit premiumjunkclothing.com and use code EverydayGSD15 at checkout. Williamson Wine, natural artisan wine from Napa and Sonoma. Good Dudes Coffee, veteran owned by former Navy SEAL Josh Bridges. Every cup is brewed with passion and dedication to quality. Visit their website at gooddudescoffee.com and use discount code EverydayGSD10 for an exclusive offer. And also, don't forget to visit the Everyday GSD store at darinbibeau.com for all your official Everyday GSD merchandise. And now, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Everyday GSD Podcast, Restaurant Edition. Today's special guest, Chris Evans. Chris, first of all, thank you so much for being on the show, my man. I appreciate you. You are the owner of Matador, which is a recently opened restaurant here in Carmel, but you're not new to the restaurant industry. You've had several restaurants, which I'm going to talk about throughout the show and when I do the bio, but I kind of want to back it up to when you were a little kid and give the listeners just a little background on you, if that's okay.
Of course.
Awesome. And again, thanks for being on the show. You were born in Indiana. Your dad was in the military and your mom worked government jobs. By the time you were 2 years old, you were living in New York. At 5 years old, you landed yourself in Virginia, where basically you lived on a motorcycle riding in the backyard straight into the woods.
Yeah.
I can visualize this, and I think this is awesome. I grew up called in the country when I was much younger, 5 years old, 7 years old. I lived in a small little town in northern New York, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay. Then, 9 years old, which this did not happen to me, you moved to Belgium for a few years, and then you came back to Indianapolis at 13. If you wanted something, you had to earn it. You did paper routes, you mowed lawns, you worked in fast food, you even sold bubble gum in the school auditorium at 6th grade. Did you get in trouble for that?
Never got caught.
I like it.
Bought one pack at Hook's drugstore, and then next week I bought 3 packs.
You'd be surprised on this restaurant series what a common theme that is.
Yeah, and I have stories when I was a kid that I did get caught a couple times doing things like that, and my mom was like, "Yeah, we're not punishing you. You've got that mindset." You were always hustling in some way or another. On top of that, you were a skateboarder, always chasing a little freedom and fun. And I used to ride a skateboard when I was younger. I used to have a vision. Talked about that a little while ago. You graduated from North Central in 1994. You went on to travel the world and be a photographer. That's what you wanted to do. But you went to IU, and that didn't last long. So you ended up ditching school for the mountains, snowboarding in Montana for a few years. It's so beautiful out there, right?
It's a gorgeous landscape, yeah.
Yeah, I was on a podcast in Kalispell, Montana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right by Glacier.
Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. Cleared Hot is the show. Absolutely, I was blown away when I was out there. I was like, man, this is like a postcard.
Whitefish, Montana is one of the most beautiful places on earth, I think.
Yeah. Shout out to Whitefish, Montana. Okay. But after a few years, you wanted to go to, you went to photography school?
Both.
Okay. So you wanted to, and then you went, but then you were back at IU for a little while, and you couldn't get rid of the itch for the snow. So off to Whistler, Canada, you went.
Yeah.
Love it. And you're going to all the terrible places, right?
It was rough.
Yeah. But you eventually made it back to Indiana, and you picked up a job in a restaurant, and that's when it hit you. Restaurants were where you belonged. 2006, first place you opened was Village Kitchen, ice cream and burger shop.
Mm-hmm.
You sold it a year later and bought Sangiovese. Did I pronounce that right?
Correct.
Perfect. From there, you kept building. Then you had Mimi Blue, which I went there several years ago in off of Mass Ave, and I thought it was great. It's the first time I've been to a restaurant like that theme, I guess.
Yeah,
that we'd say. My wife and I actually loved it. You had a vegan vegetarian option that she really enjoyed.
My mother-in-law made that.
Oh,
that was her recipe.
We might have to talk about that after the show.
Oh, yeah. I'll get you the recipe.
Perfect. That same year, you moved Sangiovese to Ironworks building, which is a beautiful building. And then you added another one in Fishers in 2020, right before the pandemic. 2024, you opened Trey. And then 2025, Matador, which you are the owner of that now, which just recently opened. And I was just talking to Justin. I believe my wife and I were your first customers.
You were our first customers at the bar, and I had the good fortune of meeting you there, not
Yeah.
knowing that it would lead into this.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
And I love it. And we have probably met before, but we didn't really talk. And we have a lot of mutual friends. I'm confident from talking to you earlier. Which so now you're probably stuck with me. So you love the restaurant grind, but there's nothing beats being a dad. I love this. You have 2 kids, Olivia and Christian.
Correct.
You coached all their sports until they moved into travel leagues and got a little older, and now you're on the sidelines with them. But this is the best part of your life today.
Absolutely.
I love it. Looking back at your story, really it's about chasing adventure, taking risk, and always finding a way forward. True everyday GSD lifestyle. And what was your saying you said?
Sink or swim.
Sink or swim. I love it. From riding dirt bikes at 5 years old, to snowboarding in Montana, selling gum in school, and running restaurants, you, sir, have been carved out your own lane. You've been doing this since jump and have a hell of a time doing it. So let's dive into it. I know we're supposed to be talking about restaurants, and I'm really excited to talk about the new restaurant you just opened and some of the other restaurant experiences you have. But with your personality, I've got to go back to your dad was in the military, you're a little kid, and you're traveling around. So let's start from there. Can we do that?
Absolutely.
All right, awesome. So talk to me. I guess we'll say memory. I'm sure you don't remember when you were 2 years old, but
No.
Your first memory growing up with your dad as a military person, and your mom working in the government. What started having you get this? I'll call it the itch, the adrenaline, I can do this. I've got to find a way to do it.
We had, growing up, I really don't remember Indiana or New York other than pictures, so that's imprinted in your mind. But when I lived in Virginia, we literally had woods out our back door, and I think I was riding a motorcycle, one of those little Honda 50 cc's.
Yeah, I was just going to say little 50. Yep.
I mean, I've got pictures of riding those bikes, and my helmet is a horseback riding helmet. Literally, it's like a plaid one, and
How's it sound, Justin?
No, it's good, but I didn't wear a helmet, so
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, not always, but
That's a good thing you had one on.
but we would, my parents they let us just go do what we did. And my brother and I would just go out and ride motorcycles and come back when we were out of gas, I guess.
Yeah.
And skateboard ramps, we just built them
built
ourselves. And building quarter pipes in the backyard and
Yeah.
just with tools.
Do you remember what your
10-year-old.
first skateboard was?
My first skateboard.
Look at me, I'm going back in his memory.
a-
Because I didn't know we were talking about skateboards, Darin.
It was either a Powell Peralta
Okay.
or it was a Natus Copus. One of those two.
Okay.
And or maybe it was a Sims. God, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember now.
Just fun skateboard talk.
Yeah.
It's all good. Okay, so keep going. You're out there. You and your brother.
Yeah, we were
Older brother or younger brother?
older brother, 4
Okay.
years older. So he was my idol.
Yeah.
Basically what my brother did, I did. So BMX bikes, motorcycles, skateboards. That's what fed me into all of that. And and it was I guess I suppose it was the way that started my way of life of just finding things and finding adventure and going and doing it and building ramps, and whether it was dirt ramps for motorcycles or bikes or skateboards, and that's what we did. And then going from Virginia to Belgium.
Yeah, because I was going to say, were you able to do that in Belgium?
Absolutely. We skateboarded everywhere.
I love it.
I mean, I was a kid, what did I say, 9 to 13, 9 to 12, something like that.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, my brother and I, we lived in Mons, Belgium, where there was a NATO base, which was cool. I thought it was awesome. But we would literally go to Brussels on the train.
Yeah.
I mean, a 10-year-old
kids.
kid going, 10-year-old, like, who does that?
Yeah.
I mean, I think back about it, I'm like, wow, what did my parents think?
Yeah.
One, they didn't know.
Yeah, I was like, they probably
And,
didn't know.
Yeah, I mean,
They thought you were in the backyard.
take a train to Antwerp and go to the skate park there in the middle of the city, and then come back home. And I guess as long as we got home by dark, we were good.
Right, for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, somehow it was a different life back then, I guess.
And you mentioned that your mom made, you said your mom made the recipe, the vegetarian recipe?
My mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law?
Yeah.
But I want to talk about your mom real quick, and your dad. Big cookers?
Yes.
Foodie people?
Mother is.
Okay.
Father enjoys food, but is not a cook.
Yeah. Because I'm just trying to think, as a kid growing up in, we'll call it the adrenaline, the fast moving fun, I'm carving my own path. How did food, because you didn't start into the restaurant industry till a little later in life, but there was some kind of food influence for you, obviously.
Oh, sure. I mean, I always enjoyed food. My favorite food is meatloaf. Hence why I opened up a meatball restaurant. meatballs are just round meatloaf as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I go to a steakhouse and I order the meatloaf and people look at me like I'm crazy.
I do love a good meatloaf.
But that's what my mother made meatloaf. My mother made essentially all the meals at home, and she always said that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
I think it's accurate.
So was it also, and I'm gonna just because I'm doing some parallels. I think there's a lot of similarities with the two of us. Do you think did your parents like dinner was at 5 or 6 or whatever time dinner was, and that's when you had to be there?
Correct.
Yeah, like
probably 6, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, whatever
like
time
that.
it was. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and that alone, without even knowing it, is part of discipline that you're learning in life. As a kid, you're mad like your buddy doesn't have to. He's still out messing around because maybe his parents didn't make him. And you're like, or you would have him over for dinner.
Correct.
But I think there's something in life that we forget about, those little things that my mom and my dad made us do, that back then I was like, I can't believe I have to be here at 5:30 for dinner every single night when, so-and-so does it. And then you look back at it and you're like, God, how lucky were we?
Oh, the best time is at the dinner table.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you bring more people there. I'm a big fan of, you're hungry, come on over and sit at the table.
Yeah, and I love it. So mowing lawns, because you were trying to just make a couple bucks, right?
Yeah, I needed to buy another skateboard when I broke one.
Yeah.
And back then they cost maybe $40.
Yeah, which
So
is
that was
a
about-
fortune.
That was probably about 5 yards I had to mow.
How long did you do the paper route for?
I did that from 6th grade until maybe 8th grade.
You were a paper boy too, weren't you?
I was, yeah, absolutely. I love that paper route. Me and my BMX bike and my paper route were like the shit.
Yeah.
What kind of bike were you riding back then?
Back then I had a Columbia BMX, and then I got a Hustler BMX. I've had them all, man. I love
Yeah.
them.
Actually, funny little story, and the show's not about Justin, but I want to share this. So just recently, he found this BMX
Oh, God.
no, I won't get into too many details, but he wanted to buy it as a bike that he had when he was a kid. But unfortunately, it was a bit of a scam. But he was so excited. He's showing me the bike. He's showing me the bike. I was like, just get it. And then he told me some of the details. I was like, let's do a little research. And so unfortunately, he didn't get the bike, but he's still looking.
Don't buy bikes online if they're asking for Apple gift cards for payment.
Well, they've gotten a lot more expensive too as these things are getting popular now.
Yeah, they're popular. It's funny because it's something from like I'll say the 80s, then, 80s and 90s. And then all of a sudden, as an adult, we're like, God, I wish I had my old BMX.
Yeah.
Actually, remember that movie Rad?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
They're remaking that right now.
I believe
Really?
it.
They are, yep.
Be sponsored by Redline or Haro or
Oh my
GT
God.
or something.
Yeah. And so you're skateboarding, you're doing paper routes, you're mowing lawns, then you end up graduating from high school, graduated from North Central, and then you wanted to travel the world and be a photographer.
Yeah.
What made you want to be a photographer?
I started doing photography in high school. North Central had a really cool program, J. Everett Light, where it was more about the trades. And I took a photography class there. I fell in love with it. In fact, when I was getting ready to graduate, I had two paths in life, and I was a bad student. My GPA was horrendous.
We don't say bad. We just say we weren't great.
I wasn't disciplined. I applied to IU. My guidance counselor said, Chris, you're not going to get accepted to IU, so you should apply other places, because my GPA wasn't good. My SAT was good, but and I wanted to either do that or I wanted to buy a TWA around the world plane ticket and travel the world.
Yeah.
That ticket was set up as maybe like $2,000 at the time, which was a lot of money, but and it was, as long as you kept flying in one direction on standby, you kept going.
Right.
And I wanted to do that and take photography and explore the world, get lost. Sometime late that summer, I got accepted to IU, and I'll never forget like opening that letter.
You were so excited.
He's
no,
I was. I'm true story. I was a little disappointed. I was like, oh crap! Like I guess I'm going to go to IU. Like some of my friends were going to go there.
I guess I got to go to college.
Yeah, it was bittersweet, but the bug never left me. So I went to IU.
And how long were you there before you started doing this again?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
You're like,
I started in the business program.
Okay.
At that time, the business program was just grooming people to work for Fortune 500 companies, I felt, and that wasn't me.
Right.
To this day, I still can't figure out accounting. Debits and credits confuse the hell out of me. I like simple math, but I'm like, so I got out of that program, switched to photojournalism and political science. Fast forward, I'm 21, and I meet a friend at Connor's Pub and end up following him to Missoula, Montana, where he was going to University of Montana, and I went there to be a snowboard bum. Didn't know anything about Missoula Snowbowl. Is a mountain there, small mountain, 2 lifts, beautiful mountain. I think it has 3 lifts now, but I was a snowboard bum.
Were they old school lifts like out here?
100%. It would break down. It was actually, that mountain had the old lifts from Big Sky, and they were notorious for breaking down. Half the people there brought rappel gear because it would break down so often they could get off the lifts.
So that, because they knew.
Yeah, they were slow, old, but but by default,
how was the snow?
Unbelievable. The year I went there, it was 97, I believe, was the winter I went there. And the first day there, it was blue skies, which is somewhat abnormal for Montana, and a foot of powder. And it was, if you're a snowboarder, I've just found out a foot of powder and blue skies is possibly the best feeling on life. Yeah. I mean, you just float, and it's just... And
the air just seems cleaner, too.
100%. It's an amazing feeling, and I had the good fortune of being a snowboard bum for 2 years there, and then I fast forward a few years later in Whistler, Montana, and some of the best years of my life.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got some times when I just think about snowboarding with some of my friends. I got a buddy named Fritz. Him and his wife, we've been snowboarding together. They live on the East Coast. They rent this place in Vermont every year. Actually, they might own it. It doesn't matter. But anytime we can connect and hit a mountain together, and it's not as often as we like, but it's like when you leave there, you're just like, God, what just a great 2 days, 3 days, however. Yeah. It's almost like you just got recharged. And my buddy Brian Chalette and a couple other my buddies that are big snowboarders, whenever I can connect with them, Joe DiRenzo, when I can connect snowboarding with them, it's the same smile you just had on your face when you were like, foot of fresh powder and blue skies. Yeah.
Literally the best thing on earth.
Or like him, Ryan, being on his BMX with doing a paperweight. Look, see how excited he got.
No, I think it's the best thing on earth. It's literally was some of the best times of my life. Met great people, did amazing things, and I can tell you stories about when I was in Whistler. Just crazy, wild stories.
Any big storms when you were there? Like crazy storms?
No, not that I really recall. Nothing ever more than like the storms they have in California where you just get 10 feet of snow in a day. That never happened there. I don't really recall ever having more than 2 feet of snow at a time. So which is almost too much snow.
Yeah, it's a lot of snow. And so, how long were you up there for?
Montana was there for 2 years.
2 years.
I was there until I snowboard bum, found a photography school, went to the Rocky Mountain School of Photography in Missoula, Montana. Amazing experience, 3 month, fully immersed in photography. You learn how to do studio photography, landscapes, literally everything. And then I ended up staying for another year. I'd always worked in restaurants, so I always had to have 2 jobs to pay the bills there. Right. And then snowboarded again for next year. And then essentially once I finally ran out of money and kind of was the grind was getting old. Yeah. And harder. I just, then I came back to Indiana and I went back to IU, did that. And then, but the bug didn't leave me. The itch to like go snowboard and live life. I say live life, go do things, go experience things. And school just wasn't the path for me. Right. And I think the thing is this, I think what you say earlier, I said it to you, you've always carved your own lane. So school is very important to some people, and that's the lane they need to be in. Absolutely. I think school's an amazing thing. It's just not for everyone. Yeah, and it's just not for everyone. And you talk about trade schools or other types of schooling, and that's not for everyone, but it is for certain people. The same person that wants to be in an office 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, that trade school's not going to work for them. Yeah. They're pulling their hair out as the same as the opposite. But people don't think like that. They always think the other way around. It's like, no, it's both ways. If you want to be a lawyer, you're not going to want to work outside and enjoy the sunshine. You probably eventually will. Wish you made that career path, but I'm biased because I want to go snowboarding right now. Where's there snow right now, Justin?
Oh gosh, I mean,
Argentina,
maybe.
Yeah. All right, I'll text Jonica.
You go real high in California.
Right now?
I don't know. Maybe
not.
I
don't think so.
Not now.
No, not yet. Not yet.
So
okay.
So do you have a snowboard pass? You get a ski
pass?
I
get the Epic Pass.
Yeah.
I have for years, and fortunately, it's a military pass too, so it's very inexpensive.
What do you pay for it?
Don't quote me, but $4.99.
I got the best deal on life because my dad was military, and it just happened last year. Retired military dependent.
Oh.
Yeah. It's $180.
Oh my God! I think I've seen
limitations.
That
I couldn't even believe it was real.
Yeah.
My kid's day pass is like $320.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, met some friends. I was out in Breckenridge and a couple years ago, and I felt bad because my buddy was living in Denver and he likes to snowboard, but he had the other pass, the competitor. Icon. He's like, I'll meet you on the mountain. But I was like, I'll pay for it because it's crazy that you were having to pay to come snowboard with me when, I just didn't. So I felt bad for him. So anyway, I paid for his day pass. And when I went up to the window to pay and the lady told me how much it was, I go, it's for one day, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, it's 11 o'clock right now. And she's like, yeah, the mountain closes at 4. I'm like, and this is how much it is? Do you know how much I paid for my pass?
I always wonder where the threshold is on the prices. And I guess they haven't reached them yet because, I bought a buddy because you get a discount when you've got the pass.
Yeah,
so
and that's what it was. He
needed one extra day. So I was like, oh, man, I get you a discount, maybe 20%. And we go up there and the lady goes, we're at Vail that day. And she goes, I think it was $290 or $310. I was like, oh, my God, what's the discount?
Yeah, what's the discount?
Goes, well, the pass is normally $350. I'm like, oh, what a deal.
And then you're like, no, we have our own snowboard.
Yeah. Give me a bumper sticker or something with it.
It sounds like you're going to have to adopt me so I can get that military dependent.
Well, you can't, so you don't get the... Oh, yeah, I get it.
It even ran a background check on me. I couldn't believe it worked. Because I'm dependent. I'm a 50-year-old guy.
You're like, I'm an adult. No, it's real because and every couple of years, so I just automatically, so that your old pass always works.
Yeah.
And they just update it, electronically or whatever it's called. But even this year, ironically, mine, I had to get a new one because they just mailed it to me.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if my wife is going to get a new one or hers is automatically. But I had to go back in and do the ID me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I was just like, I've already done this, but I don't know. I didn't have to get my DD-214, but I think they find you.
Yeah, they've gotten some security system.
Yeah,
and it works. It worked for me.
Yeah, well, good for us.
Yeah,
and then we take that money and we go to the local restaurants.
That's one meal.
Yes.
At top of Vail, you can get a hot dog and a Coors Light for $50.
Yeah, and that's with the discount. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about. Okay, so you leave Whistler. You're back in Indiana. You pick up a job in a restaurant, and that's where you knew this is your home.
Yeah.
Right. And when I say that's your home, not necessarily Indiana, which it ends up becoming, but being in that industry.
Sure.
So at what point when you were working in this restaurant did you decide, you know what, I want to be a restaurant owner?
I always wanted to own a nightclub. I always wanted to own a jazz nightclub. And when I started working in this restaurant, nice Italian restaurant in Broad Ripple, Ambrosia. And that was I think I started in 99. And it was, old school way of waiting tables was you got hired and they just gave you a pad of paper and there's no training. You just went and started talking to the table and taking orders. And first bottle of wine I ever opened was at that table. Fumbled it.
Of course.
But I fell in love with one, you could make pretty good money. I was like, wow, actually you make a couple $100s a night. This is pretty awesome. But then when I started bartending, maybe about a year or 2 years into it, I love the relationships you build. It's not so much about the food or the drink. Yes, you have to have a good product, but the relationship you build with the people that, Darin, I might see you once a month or once a week or whenever it is, but by default, you become an extension of my family.
Right.
We talk differently. People that sit at the bar love to interact, have conversations, meet the people next to you. Hence, typically when I go out to a restaurant, I usually sit at the bar or in the bar. I just enjoy the energy there.
Because it is different.
Absolutely. Dining rooms are great, but I prefer the bar.
Yeah.
I prefer seeing things that you see there, seeing the mixologist make some fun drinks, different interactions. And typically I feel like the bar is where people are a little more open to meeting the person next to them. And
I like that you say that because looking at your restaurants and your restaurant you currently own, Matador, if you look at that bar and look at the size of that bar and the seating and how it is set up, it's designed for people like myself and like you because you know what you like. Mm-hmm. So when you're in there and you're eating and drinking and you're enjoying the tapas that you have that are all amazing, you are talking to the neighbor next to you that I just met and sharing stories and creating a new relationship that relationship with them might only be the next time I see them at that bar.
Yeah.
Or 2 years later we're all hanging out.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think that's good because I can tell by you that you like that, how you've implemented that into your restaurant.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, always say hi to the person next to you. That might lead into the best friendship of your life.
Right.
Or it might lead into just a conversation. Then you don't see that person for 2 years. Then you're at the airport and you're like, hey, we share those anchovies.
Yeah.
you know, or whatever it might be.
Which, by the way, I do love your anchovies.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, they're great with the potato chips.
I don't think they're going to be the most popular, but they are awesome. I love
Don't
them.
take them off the menu. I know it's still new and you're going to be moving stuff around, but
they are not going anywhere. They belong on that menu, and
Good.
it's a great dish. The beauty of the tapas is that it's everything I like is, you know, get 6 plates, get 7 plates, get 8 plates, share, take a bite, and if something isn't the best thing for you, you just move past it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's small enough to be like, I won't order that again.
Yeah, 100%.
Your shishito peppers. I know we're not going to talk about everything on the menu, but your shishito peppers,
yeah,
they are the best. And I've had shishito peppers for a while now at different restaurants around the country, I'll call it. And the first one I bit into with that black
salt,
mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, you guys nailed it.
Yeah,
absolutely nailed it.
Those were I got exposed to those a few months ago, and when I first had them, I said, and I know they've been around forever, clearly, but for me it was a new thing. And I said, oh my God, this is the new edamame. Like, just keep ordering platefuls of them.
You
just
can
keep munching, 100%.
You can.
And they're light, they're easy to eat, and then unfortunately for me, it might make you want to get another drink too. So I like that,
which is okay, I guess. Okay, so you opened up Village Kitchen in 2006. Now this is your first restaurant experience where you're the owner,
correct?
Right? And you sold it's an ice cream and burger shop.
Ice cream burger shop, and I was the first person in Indiana to introduce poutine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, don't get Darin started on the poutine.
Do you like poutine?
Yeah, so
I love poutine.
Puts in, right? You know, my mom's listening, and she's just scratching her head right now. So my family's from Montreal.
Oh,
and poutine is the French Canadian way to say it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it got Americanized to poutine and so when so my wife says I'm the only one that says this, and it comes from this little area, this little town that I grew up in the Adirondack that's called Plattsburgh. Mm-hmm. And so my wife always says, you're the only one that says it, stop correcting people. And I go, I'm not correcting them, I'm just kind of educating them. So we go up to Montreal, and we're hanging out in old Montreal, and I said to the bartender, I said, hey, I'm going to order something, and I know what I want, but I'm just going to explain it to you, and then you tell me what it's called. And so the bartender, I said, it's just French fries, cheese, curd, gravy. And he goes, puts in. And I looked at my wife, and I go, and then then a server walks by, and I go, excuse me, can you have a minute? And she's not even serving us. I said the same thing, and then they both started laughing. And they were like, yeah, it's not wrong what you're saying. It's the Americanized way to say it. Sure. But I was always correcting people. I was like, you're not saying it right. Tomato, right? But anyway. Sure. I love that you were the first one to introduce it because it's great. It's a fun, hearty dish.
I got exposed to it when I lived in Whistler, and I had this kid from a friend, lifelong friend now, who's from Quebec, and he kept talking about poutine. He said poutine?
Puts in.
Poutine.
It's okay. You can say it how you want.
And I remember the first time he made it for me, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And so we had it there, and it was that was the one dish there outside of the ice cream that I was really proud of. Yeah. Everything else was like really greasy food, and I was like, yeah, so it was good.
And there's certain places that my wife really likes that does a vegetarian. My wife's a vegetarian, so because typically it's a beef gravy. Yeah, or some like there's this one place in Canada. It's a fast foodish place, St. Hubert's. They have it, but it's like a chicken gravy.
Okay.
But either way, it's not vegetarian, so she can't have it.
Sure.
So she's just ordering French fries, and she's like, I don't really want French fries.
Yeah.
But there's a few places that have the vegetarian gravy, and she's always like, actually, there's a place in Broad Ripple that has it. 20 Tap.
Oh, 20 Tap does. Yeah.
Yeah, and
that place is awesome.
They have a vegetarian version.
Their cheese curds are out of this world.
Yeah, they are. That's so funny. Who knew we were going to be talking about cheese and gravy, Justin? Okay, so 2006. You ended up selling the place a year later.
Correct.
Is that what I'm reading here?
So that project came about. I had been looking for a restaurant to buy. Almost bought several in Broad Ripple. Each one fell through for various reasons. Then a mutual friend of mine, his family owned this building that used to be the Jazz Cooker.
Okay.
Which was next to the Broad Ripple Steakhouse at the time. It was a restaurant that fed into the Monkey's Tail, which now might be the French Quarter or something like that, or the Quarter. The space wasn't being used, and so we got it and we turned it into a burger ice cream shop.
Right. Did you sell beer too? Or
no beer.
No alcohol?
No beer. Zero alcohol.
Yeah.
It had a window to the Monkey's Tail to sell them cheeseburgers and hot dogs. We ended up selling ice cream there by default because Ben & Jerry's had just closed. I said, you know what? We should get a tub and sell some ice cream. And it was the ice cream was probably the biggest thing for us. There would be a line out the door for ice cream. At that time, I think we were the only ones in Broad Ripple selling ice cream.
So there was an actual Ben & Jerry's shop down there and it closed?
There used to be, yeah, right by the old fire station.
Oh, okay.
And so we did that. It was really fun building that project, but then I didn't really get any enjoyment out of running it. And we didn't get the late night business that we thought we would because it was a block off of Broadapple Avenue. And just the reality is nobody goes that direction.
Right.
That was at that time La Bamba's and I think it was Paco's were the ones that got all the business in Broadapple.
Okay.
But once again, we'd been open maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 months. And then I said, I think we need to sell this place or we're just going to close it if we go into the winter. And fortunately I sold it.
Really?
Yeah.
And how long did it stay open after you sold it to the individuals?
I sold it to a guy that turned it into a Mediterranean place called the Pomegranate Grill.
Oh, okay. So he changed the whole concept.
He changed the whole concept. But what did make me happy is the person he sold it to was Boogie Burger. That was Boogie Burger's first location. They made a great burger, great milkshake, and they did everything that I thought that space could do, but I just didn't have the energy to do it.
Right.
And they did great there.
So it went from your restaurant to Mediterranean and then back to
a burger place. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. And they were there for 5, 6, 7 years.
Okay.
Before they relocated and then went on.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. Okay, so you sell the place.
Mm-hmm.
And how long after you sold the place did you decide you want to do this again, or did you just jump right in and buy Sangiovese?
I was already working on Sangiovese
Okay.
at that time because I really wanted that place with a bar. I wanted that social interaction, something to be proud of, build those relationships. And I was trying to buy Sangiovese then, and it was I ended up buying Sangiovese in May of 2007. It took probably about 6 months longer than expected, but lawyers like to redline things, so then you have to just deal with that game. But and I remember at one point in time, it was taking so long. My wife was she was saying, I don't, maybe this isn't going to work, and she, you have all these connections, maybe you should just go get a job. And I'll never forget looking at her and saying, hey, what job am I going to get? Like, I'd rather go flip burgers or mow lawns. And like, I don't think I've ever been to a job interview really. Yeah. Like kind of, but not really.
A job?
Yeah. Like, I'm like, what's a job?
Yeah.
I kind of just worked. I kind of marched my own beat. And,
right.
And I knew what I was doing was going to happen.
Right.
It was just taking longer than expected.
So you buy it, and which is a very well-known place. So you have this nice restaurant. It's got a beautiful bar. And how are you building up your employees and your team to still have the same mindset you do?
So I buy it May of 2007. It's a great business, great location. The original location is where Giordano's is now by Harry Nizzi's, 82nd and Dean Road. We had a great patio, had a great clientele. So it already had a history, had a name for itself.
Right.
So it's all about, when I run restaurants, kind of the way I'm running Matador right now, where I'm in there actively involved, telling them to dim the lights, turn the music up, look at that customer over there, the drink's almost empty, ask them if they want another one. I drive them crazy, but it's all the things that feed into making them as much money as they can. We want a healthy team around us, so we have to build our culture.
Right.
We have
Culture's huge.
Yeah, and we have to find the right people that fit into the puzzle with us. And
right.
We have a lot of good people, and sometimes they might not fit into my puzzle.
Right.
So we'll help them find another job where they're good at. Maybe
right.
they need more structure, maybe they don't, maybe they just don't like working with me.
Right.
But I think once you get a good, healthy team, everybody needs a home. Every
right.
employee, every coworker, you need a home where you're respected. You don't dread going into work. Yes, you have to make money, but I tell everybody, money does not make you happy. Money buys you nice things.
Yeah.
I like nice things, but money does not make you happy. The happiness is within, and if you can provide that for somebody, it's amazing.
Right.
Hence, I've got employees, coworkers that have been with me since the beginning for 20 years now, or 18 years.
I love that you say that. So you have employees that obviously fit into your puzzle,
mm-hmm.
and you fit into their puzzle.
Correct.
Right. And for, 15, 18 years, different restaurants, they've followed you or they've stayed with you, with your team. And if you look at some of the restaurants that we've had on the show, it's a common thing that I hear when we're talking and interviewing with a successful entrepreneur. It's their mindset and their mentality that, listen, I need to take care of these employees because they're taking care of my customers. They're taking care of the business with the same mindset I have.
Correct.
And I think that's where people fail when they're running around and they're trying to do everything themselves, and they're trying to do things that aren't beneficial. It's not a win-win for all people. It's not a win for the restaurant. It's not a win for the consumer, and it's not a win for the employee. So you don't have those wins. When you're missing that in the triangle, then there's no triangle, right? It falls apart.
Correct.
So, and I just wanted to emphasize that because you can tell when you're talking to someone that's successful in the industry that that's one of their biggest things. That it's their team.
Oh, absolutely. Every team member is your ambassadors or the face of your business. For me, it's my bartenders and my servers or my hostess.
Right.
Hey, hostess, greet these guests with a smile. When they leave, say thank you for dining with us. And if you've got time, hold that door open and watch them smile.
Yeah.
The
simple things.
Yeah. You think it's simple.
I know.
But sometimes we have to train these people and
absolutely.
or help lead them.
Right.
And when they do it, I had a team meeting with all my coworkers at Matador the other day. And I said, hey, guys, look, as you saw, I was here early for this today. I said, hey, guys, we need to be on time. Some of you are 15, 20 minutes late. That's not fair to your teammates.
Right.
I'm here. Let's do things this way. I'm here to help you guys. I will bus your tables. I will open wine for you. I'll sell things to your tables for you. I'll run food for you. But I am not your busser. I'm here to help you make as much money as you can because in Indiana, you make $2.13 an hour from me. You work on commission.
Yeah.
You want to make as much money as you can or not? Like you're here. Yeah. Let's make as much money as you can.
You're already here.
Yeah.
You showed up today.
Yeah.
On time, please.
Learn about these drinks and upsell somebody. Sell a double.
Yeah.
See what you sell 3 desserts, you make an extra $20 a day.
They want a bottle of wine. Recommend this one.
Yeah. And what's that math over a year? You might make an extra $1,000.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That makes them, they start to think something different. I'm like, all right, if you make an extra $50 a week, you make an extra $2,500 a year.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. They're probably not. They might have a day off or two, a week off or two. Who knows?
But but no. It's a. But when you can by doing those things, you can build your team, and then they can start to see it, and then they get a mutual respect. And if they see me, the way I work in the restaurants is, I'm watering tables.
Yeah,
I'm talking to guests. I'm bussing tables, and by default, that shows a lot of people that see a lot of owners or managers that are hiding in the background, not interacting.
Yeah.
To me, it's about relationships. And if I'm not actively, I push all of my managers. I say, touch every single table, hand out 5 business cards a night to break that ice with somebody and say, hey, I'm Chris. I'm the manager here.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you. If there's anything I can ever do for you, please reach out to me.
Yeah.
That makes people feel so important.
Yeah.
Wow, I can call Chris and get a table. Like, who can do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can all go to open table. But
Right.
can you text the owner?
Right.
Text the manager and they get you in? Hey, Darin, we got your table.
Yeah.
Because we might get to know you and then you come in and we're busy. But I see you come in, you don't have a reservation. I walk up to the host. I was like, hey, Darin, we got your table.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell the others, but we'll just push you to the front.
Yeah. And then what happens is you then get loyalty from that consumer.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden that consumer tells other people, and then they bring in more people. The bill ticket price goes up. And also then when I'm not there, the people that I brought in are going to come back because they had a great experience.
Absolutely.
They got to witness it. And there's a few restaurants in the downtown Carmel area that have mastered that, I believe. And you guys are one of them, but then there's some that haven't.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference.
Oh yeah.
Because it highlights the ones that haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Because you start getting used to that and say, oh, I can just text this guy, this bartender. He's going to save me 2 seats. Obviously, he's not going to save me seats at 8 o'clock if I'm texting at 5, and it's going to save 3 hours. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Within reason. But
The best person to always know in the restaurants is the bartender.
100%.
For me, I love when I can text a bartender and he responds to me quicker than the owner. Not because they don't want to respond, or maybe they don't. But when the bartender's like, "Hey, I got your seats. We'll be here." I'm like, "Love it,
love it,
perfect,
can't wait."
I feel like a rock star walking in.
Yeah, you do it, and then you're that little reserve sign, or they just said, "Hey, those seats are taken." You're like, "Thank you."
Yeah,
and then they start to know your drink, and
yeah. We all want to be Norm from Cheers. We all want to be recognized when we come in, and that's just if you can take that touch, why wouldn't you?
Didn't someone else say that we all want to be Norm from Cheers?
Yeah,
I don't remember who, because that episode might not have come out yet.
It hasn't, but
I think that's funny because it's so true. That's so true. Yeah. Okay, so you have this nice restaurant. Mm-hmm. You still keep this restaurant and you decide you want to open up Mimi Blues, or where are we at in the Mimi Blues world?
So Mimi Blue was an interesting project. I ended up, long story short, I was working on a meatball concept. Maybe in about 2013, I saw something out of New York. It was called the Meatball Shop. The place was genius to me. Cool branding. They were skateboard kids. It was essentially everything that Mimi Blue did. Fast forward a year or two, I was introduced to some guys that I ended up partnering with on Maybe Blue. They had the same vision. The father of this group, he went to New York every week, traveled there, and he fell in love with the concept as well. And we came together through a mutual friend because he said, hey, Chris, this guy's looking at doing a meatball restaurant too. He's on the exact same page as you are, and they've got the resources to make this really big. I said, oh, I'd love the idea of a partnership. And I met with them, and named Jerry Cosine, really smart guy, genius, like design-wise, really, really smart. And he showed up to the first meeting, and he had a binder this thick of printouts of stuff about Maybe Blue, and it was everything I'd been working on. And I couldn't believe it. And we were talking about the exact same meatball restaurant that we wanted to closely follow and resemble.
Right.
And it took about a year and a half to get done. Lots of locations fall through. If you've ever opened a business and leases, you know not every deal happens.
Correct.
And sometimes it just takes a while. But fast forward, we ended up opening that one in January 2nd, 2015 on Mass Ave. At that time, that was kind of a sleepy side of Mass Ave. The Bottle Works wasn't open. It was still the IPS spot. They parked school buses. And then Black Market was down there. Oh, that's right.
Black Market. I forgot about
was there.
Yeah, I forgot it was quiet down there.
Yeah. And we were kind of nervous. We're like, I don't know if everybody comes down to Mass Ave this side. But then when we opened up, I realized, because I'd been living in the burbs for so long, I realized that downtown Indianapolis had become very vibrant. And there's lots of neighborhoods there. And lots of people that used to live in the burbs had moved down to the neighborhoods down there. And they were just walking right over. And it was Maybe Blue was a success from day one.
Yeah. And the food was good. The atmosphere was amazing. I shouldn't say the food was good. The food was great. The atmosphere was great. Everything about it was really cool. Mm-hmm. For me, it's not a place I'm going to go every Thursday and Friday night because I don't want to eat meatballs every time.
Sure.
But I can tell you, when you wanted to eat a meatball, and there were so many different variations.
Yeah.
I mean, it was your recipes and stuff like you know, but the environment was so good. Everything was good. And then you guys opened one in Carmel. Or was that a branch off?
Well, I actually got out of the project a year into it. Sometimes maybe I'm not a good partner, but
or when to get out.
I saw it actually ended up working out very well for me. But then they went into Carmel on. It's not there anymore. Well, actually, none of them are there anymore. And then they opened one in. It was on Old Meridian. But then they opened one in Keystone of the Crossing.
Because my wife and I went to the one in Carmel. It was a real tiny bar. And I remember saying to her, I go, God, I wish it was more like the one downtown.
Well, the one downtown, the vision, it's funny you say that because the original vision, and I really fought hard for it, is I didn't want a full bar. I wanted beer and wine. I wanted it to be simple, simple, simple. As soon as you added a full bar, now you need a mixologist.
Right.
If it's beer and wine, anybody can open a beer. Anybody can pour a glass of wine.
Right.
Essentially.
Relatively speaking.
I wanted it simple. And so that's some of the things I had fought for, and that's what we had kept it at Mass Ave, and then as they expanded, they started adding more things, and then it was, but I was one of like, simplicity will work, and if you start to try to please everybody, first of all, you can't do that. It's not even possible, but it's a meatball restaurant.
Yeah.
Give me 2 great glasses of red wine, 2 whites, and let's move on. Let's have an IPA and a Pilsner, and that's simple.
Yeah, and some good meatballs.
Yeah.
What'd you say earlier? It's meatloaf in a ball?
100%.
Yeah, because I love meatloaf.
Actually, that project, something funny I remember was I remember when we were getting business cards made, and my partners, they all had these, I'll say big titles.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, what do you want your title? I was like, I'm going to be the CBO. They said, what? I said, I'm the Chief Balling Officer.
That's good.
So that was always fun when like Sherman and these news personalities would come in, and they're like, who are you?
What's your title?
I'm the CBO.
That's good. So at what point, because Ironworks at the time, they were building Ironworks.
Mm-hmm.
So they weren't, so how did you get into Ironworks? What made you?
I sold.
Because and that's where Ruth Chris,
Verde's there. Across the street is the hotel with provisions.
Yep, provisions.
Blue Sushi, Rise.
Yep, Sushi, Rise, yep.
I got into that project. I sold my lease in 2014 for my other location. It was a painful lesson. I learned a lot about leases and landlords and things. I had 1 5-year extension left on my lease at the time. I was trying to negotiate more terms. If you're not in a business and you own a restaurant, your only value is really your lease.
Right.
And when that location, the original
That's a good
location,
tip, Justin.
The original location had had just been remodeled. It is big revamp, beautiful place, and I wanted to put more money into it, so to make it a lot nicer, a lot more appealing.
Right.
But when I couldn't get more terms on the lease from the landlord, I said, "Why don't we speed this up? Why don't you guys buy me out of my lease? You can hence get a lot more dollars per square foot from a new tenant, and I can move on and rebuild my business. But right now, I'm somewhat handicapped." So in about a year, we made that happen. I was looking for new locations. I wanted to be smaller than my original location. I wanted to be about 70, 80 seats. And I wanted to be between Dean Road and Keystone.
Okay.
So
you had a direct area that you were specifically looking at.
Because that's where the neighborhoods were. That's where my clientele was, and that's where the business was. And we had another location, but we ended up making Ironworks work. And it was the best decision, and just the stars were aligned right, and it ended up working.
Yeah.
It took about a year to get done, but that location, I'm the small guy there. We have about 80 seats inside. I say Ironworks is dark date night spot. It's sexy inside.
They've done a great job over there.
The landlord's the best landlord in the city, Hendricks Group.
Oh, nice.
Hendricks Group is amazing. They own.
Shout out to Hendricks Group.
Great, and they got they're redoing downtown Indianapolis, the old Circle Center Mall. They did Bottle Works. They're very thoughtful. They don't just fill spaces to fill spaces. They put the right tenants in spaces. Now I sound like the cheerleader for Hendricks Group too, like I am for Carmel.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
But that location is fantastic. I'm the small guy, so you can go to Roost Chris and they're busy. Come down, have a drink with me. Come have a drink with me, then have dinner at Roost Chris.
Or vice versa.
Yeah, and we've got the neighbors that live above us. We have the hotel across the street. It's a really good synergy over there.
Yeah.
That you don't. The first time I went to,
you can work out at Orange Theory and then go get some good food.
Yeah. But I remember the first time I ate at Provisions, I'm at maybe a few months after they opened up. I'm in the hotel and I'm walking out waiting for my car. Don't ask me why I valet parked that day because the parking lot's right there, but it was full. And the car's pulling up and I'm sitting there under this big vestibule and I'm like, God, I can't believe they built this building here. And I'm looking at a Woodfield Crossing across the street, but I feel like I'm in a city right now. And this used to be a dumpy Lazy Boy building.
Yeah, it was.
And it was like a swamp behind it.
Yeah.
And they pulled it off with just these touches and the attention to detail in those buildings, that brickwork. Nobody does that masonry work anymore.
No.
But I recognize it, how beautiful it is, those little touches. And so that's why I'm their cheerleader. I'm like, they're very thoughtful. It's a beautiful hotel. Anybody that I send there loves it. They're like, wow, man, I'm close to 465. I got all these restaurants.
Yeah, it's actually, it doesn't seem like it's a good location, but it's a great location.
Unbelievable. Yeah, for access. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I have a lot of guests that come into town to visit for work or for the podcast or whatever, and we'll tell them that's a great spot to be. You're near the mall if you want to go shopping, but you're easy access to the highway.
Yeah.
And you can just park your car and you got everything right there.
Yeah.
You can go work out, you can go have sushi, you can go have Italian, you can have wine, beer.
2 breakfast spots, multiple dinner spots, lunch spots.
All right there.
And Verde's great. And if you want energy at nighttime, Verde's got DJs in there on the weekend. So there's a lot of really good options there. And it's a cool spot.
Okay, so you're there and you decide, and so that's before the pandemic, correct?
Yeah, that was 2015.
Okay, and then you opened up in Fishers.
Mm-hmm.
And when you opened up in Fishers?
Opened up Fishers in January 30th of 2020.
Oh.
And 6 weeks into it, March 16th.
The world shut down.
The world shut down. And I remember when I built that location, I had put, I'd saved all my money and put all my money into it because I wanted to have no debt. I'm a big fan of having no debt. And also, a word of advice to everybody: if you can get your business with no debt, cash heavy is amazing, or cash flow is amazing.
Yeah,
or both. But we opened that one, and I'll never forget. It was like a train wreck. You're kind of watching this, the pandemic kind of come through, and like they cancel the Final Four or Sweet 16, whichever is going to be in Indianapolis coming up. And
slow motion, slow roll. Like what's going on?
Kids are getting sent home from colleges, and then you're like, God, I know this is happening. And then like the day that the world shut down, I'll never forget it. God, I remember I was driving. I was going to a tile shop to buy some tile for my house, and I was at 82nd in Allisonville, and I remembered crying in my car. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I got all these people that work for me. They look up to me. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Do I pivot my business overnight and become a carryout place? Like, that's not what we do. If this virus is what they're saying, are we gonna? How do we accept payment? Like, what do we do? Like, and that night, so I felt like I'm a big poker player. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, God, man, I just bought a brand new car too. I bought this crazy cool car, the most expensive car I ever bought. Thought I was on top of the world.
Not a Huffy, Justin. BMX throwback there.
And I just felt like I was on top of the world, and I felt like, God, I just got beat by 5 of a kind.
Yeah.
It doesn't even exist. What happened?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm in a daze. And but fast forward the next day, I've got a really good business mentor. If you're ever in business, make sure you've got mentors. And the guy goes, because I'm saying, hey, we're going to switch it to a carryout model. He goes, Chris, he goes, you know what? He goes, no one's going to get evicted. No one's going to starve. He goes, do a full shutdown. Don't pivot your business overnight because you don't know what's going to happen. He goes, take all your cash and hold it in a bank so that when it's time to reopen, you can reopen your business. If you take your cash and try to be the hero, you might not be able to reopen your business. And it hit immediately. I just said, you're right. You're absolutely right. It was the best advice I ever got. And we just hit pause. We emptied all our refrigerators, sent everybody home because we knew it, when it started, it was going to be a 2-week shutdown.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody believed that was going to happen. But it was the best advice I ever got for the businesses because I was able to have the money because I was down to like low money because I just opened Fisher's, but I had enough money to reopen the businesses. And then PPP and things come into play. But we didn't know at that time. We didn't know what that was. It didn't exist. And we just got, it was really good advice. And then we reopened and, by default, Fisher's, because it was in Hamilton County, once life reopened, Hamilton County was like, everybody was there. Yeah. It was, and my location in Marion County, nobody was there. I was like, okay, across 96th Street, I guess that's the COVID-free zone. I don't know.
COVID-free zone. I guess this is where everyone's healthy.
It was very bizarre. I mean, there were days where I was scratching my head. I'm like, we can fill this restaurant, but nobody comes to this restaurant. It was polar opposites.
Yeah. And literally blocks away.
100%.
I don't want to go down a whole COVID.
Same.
It's crazy.
But it was, when I opened up, I bounce around, but when we reopened Fisher's, we had explored all these options. God, I remember going through my manager saying, hey, we need to start reaching out to our staff because a lot of these people have not left their house for 8 weeks or whatever it was. I said, we need to slowly integrate them to society again. Yeah. We were allowed to have like meetings outside with 8 people with social distancing and masks and whatnot. And we started doing those meetings because I said, we got everybody's insecurities and fears are real because that's what they're feeling. We need to help them get out of their shell. Right. And so we started doing that. And then we explored all these ways, like how are we going to take orders from people? We got iPads for every table. So tables could order from an iPad, and then we were going to bring a cart by and they could grab their food. Right. And when we opened up, my first table was an elderly couple. I'm going to go 75. They drove from Ohio because the lady wanted to get a haircut.
And she could do it in Hamilton County.
And they wanted social interaction. Yeah. And we said, got rid of all the iPads, and the people that came out wanted social interaction. Yeah. 99% of them. Yeah. And it was, people are supposed to socially interact. Yeah. And it was all the things that we had prepared for by default didn't need to be done. Right. And other than we used a lot of tequila hand sanitizer.
Yeah, I was going to say tequila hand sanitizer.
I remember the first one I got, I bought a bucket, like a 5-gallon bucket. I'm like, what is this shit? Like, excuse me, I like cuss, but I'm like, man, this is tequila. Like, this is like really crappy tequila too. And now my hands are sticky. Yeah. It ruined all my tables because that's what we're cleaning stuff with.
So then obviously we all get through that. Obviously some restaurants didn't make it, and unfortunately, but you do. And you decide a few years later to open up in Carmel.
Yes.
And that's when you decided to open up Trey.
Correct.
And then you had Trey for a little while, and then you decided to pivot from Trey to Matador.
What we did at Trey was we had tried to, at that time, before Trey, I had 2 units. And I thought I built this team, and I had given some people on my team ownership of Fisher's because they've been with me so long, loyalty. And I realized with 2 units, it's not really enough for everybody. So I wanted to get to 3 units so I could provide all these great people around me with a real future. Right. And then we opened up Trey, and our goal was to be the highest end, coolest Italian restaurant in the state.
Okay, I got to pause you for 1 second because I know a couple listeners that I've talked to that said that know you were coming on the show. Some of them know you personally through the restaurant industry, and a couple of them asked me, "How come he didn't?" And this is a question they wanted me to ask.
Sure.
How come he didn't open up Sangiovese
Correct.
here? Because that name everyone already knew,
Yeah.
right? And my answer was, I have no idea, but we're going to find out.
Yeah. No. And you know what? In retrospect, I wish I would have. It would have been the easiest transition.
But you always don't take the easy path.
No, because we want to try new things. I
Right.
mean, if you go to my Ironworks location and my Fisher's location, they're designed completely different. I love
Right.
design. I do the design for these restaurants. And I mean, I work with people, but I do
Yeah,
the
yeah.
design. And so they have different feels. And Sangiovese is, this will come across wrong, but it's boringly consistent. It's a great place. We've got great wine. We've got great servers, but we don't really make many changes there.
Right.
Because it works.
So you decided let's make a change.
So we wanted to make a change.
Right.
We wanted to mimic some places in New York. We wanted to create this really high-end wine list. We wanted the steaks to be cut tableside, the bronzino fish to be deboned at the table, caviar bumps. We had all these big ambitions, and then we ran into, and they're all excuses, but they're the real things that happen. We just ran into issue after issue after issue, issues I had never dealt with.
Right.
Issues in the kitchen. Construction was hard, and by default, some of the design inside wasn't as warm and welcoming as it should have been.
Right.
My dining room was very loud. We had sound panels that arrived 8 months late.
Right.
So there was hurdles.
All things, like you said, that are excuses, but unfortunately, the reality.
But they happened. So
They
that's
happened.
what we had to work through.
Right.
And so there was a lot of, we failed in the kitchen. You could go there and have a 5-star experience or
Right.
a 0-star experience. And when you're spending a lot of money on a steak, it should be cooked right.
Right.
And it should be on the right plate.
And it should be on the right plate.
And when you see on the internet it being, cut table side, and then you don't get that, you should be upset.
Yeah.
So on our side, we didn't execute that.
But I think you were smart and recognized issues right away.
Yeah.
And you decided because maybe this isn't what Carmel was ready for or needed at the time. And you decided, and I don't want to be put words in your mouth, but you said, you know what they don't have is tapas.
Correct.
And so let's pivot. I have the space. I have the knowledge. I have a team.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to bring new people in, but you
Yeah.
have a core team. And then you open up Matador, which I think personally downtown really needed, but I think Carmel in general needed. And I think there's people that are going to come over from Fishers and Zionsville's. You're still a few months into this, very new, but it will be successful in my opinion because Carmel doesn't have that.
Yeah.
And it's good. And I don't like to say good. I think it's very good. It's great.
Well, what I realized with Trey was there's plenty of very high-end options in Carmel, and that's great. But I also realized that I ride my bike through Carmel all the time.
Right.
I'm in shorts and flip-flops and a T-shirt.
Right.
I felt underdressed coming into Trey, so I wouldn't come in. And I see all these CEOs walking around in flip-flops and shorts, and they still want to buy that expensive bourbon, expensive glass of wine. They still want great things,
Right.
but they don't necessarily want to get dressed up for it because they've done it all week.
Yeah, they've been doing it all day.
So I said, let's design a place that is very warm and welcoming inside and much more approachable. So you can come in shorts and flip-flops or a suit. We've got fun, playful music. So we're just much more approachable to kids, to old people, to young people. From the music we're playing, it's much more inviting.
And I think the location is very good and is only going to get better.
Oh, location's killer.
Yeah.
When they did that building, I worked with Michael Garvey and Michael Jones on that one.
Oh, yeah,
It's
Garvey. He's supposed to be on the show.
Garvey's going to be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually talked to him. I see him all the time, obviously, out and
Yeah.
about. But I had given him a shirt one day because he loved the motto.
Yeah.
And he said, so I ran into him just recently. We were having a glass of wine, and I said, you should be on the show because I'd love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the best dressed guy in Carmel. I love Garvey.
His little bag.
Yep. No, but Garvey, I met Garvey through, mutual friends years ago at a fundraiser. Then I started seeing him at all these other fundraisers.
Yeah.
And then when they started working on this project, Garvey is the one that got it done for me.
Nice.
And I really wanted something in Carmel because I live here, and downtown Carmel is just, there's no street like Main Street that I know of where else it is, because downtown Carmel is it's this bubble we were talking about earlier, but it's this bubble that works.
Yeah.
And it's not stuffy. It's not the perception that a lot of people have of it. it's an amazing place to be. And if you can be part of it, it's unbelievable.
I 100% agree. And it's interesting because when I talk to people that are not from here, that haven't come here in a while, and they tell me this stigma or this idea of what they have, and I say that, you know, maybe they grew up in another side of town or their school competed with Carmel years ago. So they have this image of Carmel, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not from here. I'm not from the Midwest. And I moved here, and I'm like, I don't see any of that.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. There's not a time I walk down the street and someone doesn't say hi to me. I don't see anyone stealing parking spots, or it's super safe. The food is amazing. The people are nice. As you mentioned about the roundabouts, we have no traffic, in my opinion. Yeah. People will complain. It's like, oh, the traffic's backed up on Main Street because of the valet in front of this restaurant. I'm like, no, there's a beautiful Monon trail that people are walking on, and just let them cross. It's okay. You had to wait 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's another city that said that you're 2 miles away. I used to live in Boston. 2 miles away, that's 30 minutes all day long.
Yeah.
That's not how it is here.
Nope.
So congratulations on Matador. I'm excited. Like I said, my wife and I went in there, and I think it's kind of cool to say that we were the first customers. That was just by accident, obviously.
I think I owe you a T-shirt then.
Oh yeah.
Once we get shirts made, I always get hoodies made, so I'm gonna get you a hoodie.
Okay, yeah, I'm a hoodie guy too.
All right.
Jonica's like, another hoodie, great. But I do want to mention one of the things you talked about before the show, Olivia and Christian, your two children. And it's interesting because we all have like fun stories, and it's cool that you were, had a paper route, and you were, selling this and doing this. You got to travel, and you've got to go live overseas, and you snowboarded here, and you've opened these restaurants, and you've had all these accomplishments. And one of the things that is your greatest accomplishment is you're being a dad.
Yeah.
And again, we don't have to go into a lot of detail, but I do think it's important that the audience understands that your relationship with your children, you used to coach them until they started playing in travel leagues, and then it got a little older, and you let other coaches do that.
Correct.
But you're their biggest fan on the sidelines, and I think as a well-rounded person, I think that's huge. So I don't know if you want to share a story about your children or anything about kids, being a dad.
Kids are being a dad is the best club you can ever be in. The kids are. When they're young, I say there's no greater joy, no greater misery. Hopefully the joy is out.
Justin
the misery.
His head.
When they're really little, when they're up until age 1, I'm like, the job is just to keep them alive. Yeah, and that's kind of hard. I like every age better as they go. Now my son is in college. He's at IU. It's amazing seeing him as this young adult. And I remember when he graduated from high school, I said, he did something. He wrote a letter for somebody, and I said, mic drop. I said, I raised a responsible human being. Now, whatever you want to do is on you.
Yeah.
And I'm here to support you, but you make your decisions. You're an adult. You're a man. And it was awesome. And it's the same, my daughter, she's 15. She's a sophomore at high school.
And did she go to school in Carmel? Or?
Yeah, Carmel High School. Both kids went there.
You're talking about Carmel High School. It's amazing, right?
The school is unbelievable.
Did you say she plays varsity?
Varsity soccer. So second year in varsity soccer.
In Carmel.
It's amazing.
Where there's like 7,000 kids or something. I don't know the number, but it's huge.
It's a small, not even a small university.
No, it's a university.
It's like, I think it might be the same size as Butler.
I think it's bigger.
Is it bigger?
Yeah, because Jonica graduated from Butler, and I think she told me it's bigger.
But it's to be a father to these two kids is amazing. And like I say, my job is to raise responsible young human beings. And hopefully when they get into their 20s, they want to hang out with me.
Right.
And they're cool and they're not assholes.
Yeah.
I want, it'd be real easy to raise these kids and let them just do whatever, but teach them life lessons, teach them goals, teach them to be good people. And, I make both kids work in the restaurants.
I was going to be my next question. Do they work in the restaurant at all?
My son did, both do. My son started, when he was 14, I gave him a deadline to get a job because I have a deal that with my kids, if you want a car, I'm going to match dollar for dollar for what you have.
Yeah. I like it.
It's a little bit of battle getting that done, but I remember my son. I said, "Hey, you got this deadline to get a job. Otherwise, I promise you an interview at Sangiovese."
Congratulations!
Not via me. I said, "I think you'll get the job."
Yeah. Congratulations!
But he didn't get an interview anywhere else, so he ended up going to Sangiovese. Got an interview. I completely stay out of it. I would never go in the restaurant when he worked. We would drop him off the door, pick him up, so we didn't embarrass him. And it was for him individually, he was a host, then a busser, then became a server, because now you can be a server when you're 18, which is awesome.
Because you can serve alcohol as a server now at 18, right?
At 18.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. The kid went from making $70 a night to
Making
$300.
Yeah, I was like making
And,
real money.
like really good money. But he learned, it was one of the best experiences. I think every kid should work in a restaurant. You learn to deal with lots of different personalities, bosses, nice, not so nice, customers. You learn how to shake a hand properly.
Yeah.
And you learn to make eye contact with people. Life skills that you don't necessarily learn all the time. And that's, I watched him grow from a teenager into an adult.
Right.
And he was, even in those teenage years when, your kids, we hate to say it because we all think our kids are our friends all the time, but kids don't want to hang out with their parents.
Right.
You didn't want to hang out with your parents when you were 13, 15, 16.
Right.
But I always knew, even when he was an asshole to us, he was good to everybody else.
Yeah.
He got straight A's. He was polite to people. I said, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't like you being rude to me.
Yeah.
But I understand it.
Yeah.
And I know, because I read these reports from my staff and managers, and I said, I know we've raised a really good person.
Right.
And that's very fulfilling. And I think the restaurant helped shape him a little bit.
I love it. And it's I don't know if the right terminology, but it's two-pronged, right? You raised a good kid, but he was also, and her, they're playing sports, or they wanted to, maybe not necessarily wanted to work, but they started working, and now they're being surrounded by other, for lack of a better word, young adults, but some adults that they can see is like, okay, you know what, I'm probably would never say that to someone, or I don't appreciate what that person's doing. So they're learning kind of the what not to do.
Sure.
While they're learning what to do.
100%.
And so, like you said, a goal as a dad, I don't have children, but a goal as a dad is when they're older that they want to hang out with you. And I believe from hearing stories, the way you treat your employees, because I know how you treat your customers, but the way you treat your employees and the way you treat your customers, I've got to assume you've raised two amazing kids that will want to hang out with you when they're older.
I hope so,
right?
And I think so.
Yeah.
We still got a few more years on my daughter. My
Yeah.
son's got a few years in college, but but they're going in the right direction, and they're it's an amazing thing to be a part of and to watch and to witness. For me, every age gets better with them. Where a lot of people are like, oh, I really like when they're 3 to 5, or I really like these ages. And to me, each age has gotten better, literally, because you watch them grow into who they are.
Right.
You see their personality when they're younger, and you know what they're kind of doing and their insecurities or strengths. But when you really see them grow into who they are and their thought process and their decisions, like I love playing chess with my son, and it's like the coolest thing. And he typically beats me, but I love it.
Yeah.
And it's really neat to see people grow.
Yeah, and your daughter's playing a varsity sport at a school that, let's face it, their athletic program across the board is pretty top notch.
That
top notch.
That soccer field, which used to be the football field, is like back there. When you're watching a soccer game, you see the new natatorium they built. You're in an Olympic village. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's wild,
unbelievable.
Yeah, I absolutely. First of all, I want to say thank you for being on a show. From riding BMX, riding skateboards, delivering newspapers across the board, traveling around the world, making your way back to Indiana, raising two great kids so far. We'll say so far, because we don't want them to listen to this and then they think everything's hunky dory for the rest of their lives. They still got
like a hall pass.
Yeah, they still got to do shit, right? But clearly you're an everyday GSDer, and you've put that mindset into them, because playing varsity sports and as a freshman, sophomore in college, there's a lot that they have to do to be successful. And I want to just say thank you for being in our community in Carmel, opening up an awesome restaurant. And I can tell you that everyone that I've talked to that's been to your restaurant so far has said nothing but great things.
Oh, beautiful.
So we're excited to continue to be a patron at your restaurant and share wine at the table.
I look forward to it.
So I have a little gift for you. It's an everyday GSD shirt. We give these out to our guests that get shit done, and you, sir, are one of them. So we'll take some pictures after. But I want to say, again, thank you for being on a show. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your time, because time is money, and you guys are all busy in this industry. So I want to say thank you, man.
Well, thank you, and appreciate both of you, and I hope that we can snowboard sometime.
Absolutely.
At some point in time, we're going to meet on a mountain, and we're going to do a run together. At least one run.
I would love to.
I look forward to it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.